Herzlichen Glückwunsch zum 49.
Ja, herzlichen Glückwunsch zum 49.
63. Du musst ja aussehen wie 49, wenn das jeder sagt.
Dem wir alle so Bart.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the perfect 2016 World Team Table Tennis Championships in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm Adam Babra with you, and with me is Paul Hand. How you doing, Paul?
Good. Looking forward to this one. Feng Tianwei in the picture. 29-year-old star. Should be a cracking match, this one. And it's a must win for both these teams to top the group, so that makes it even more exciting. But of course, as they stand, both teams are safely through to the round of 16, irrespective of the result here today, Adam. But what an experienced competitor. Li Jiao is the 43-year-old Dutch player. And of course, the mistake that they made yesterday was she didn't play. She needed a day of rest. That was all planned into the script with the captain. But of course, it hurt them. They ended up losing 2-3 to France as a consequence because her compatriot, Elena Tamina, couldn't quite get the win. She lost out in a close fifth game encounter. So
First game, Singapore
are they going to pay the price for that?
All.
Well, Feng Tianwei is going to start off with the serve here in this best of 5.
Love
Now,
one.
head-to-head, they played 9 times, rather, and 7 of those have gone the Feng Tianwei way. Feng Tianwei, the player of the week for Ask a Pro Anything. Going to have some chance to look into her personality a little bit, enjoy some time.
1-all.
And she really is the pillar of the Singaporean team. You know, she's 8 from 8 so far this week. No losses at all. And they're very dependent on her. So this, a critical match in this overall match. Netherlands seeded 3rd in orange, Singapore seeded 5th, so very little between them. Netherlands have never quite medalled. They've come 4th a long time ago, back in 1985 and 87. They came 5th in 2014, but they're 4 times European champions. And one thing's for sure, the Dutch are going to put up sterling resistance for the top spot in Group C.
I'll tell you something, I'm a big fan of the Dutch team. Watching them play against Japan in Japan was very exciting. Britt Ehrland against Kasumi Ishikawa. Played many close 5-gamers. Last time they faced off, I think it was 11-9 in the 5th for Kasumi Ishikawa. Britt Ehrland has pulled through some big matches so far this tournament. Won her first 2 matches, 11-9 in the 5th. And she's in the 3rd spot for this tournament against a Singaporean player who I haven't seen in quite some time after she pulled off one of the most memorable upsets in my career It was in Dubai over Li Ho Ching to move on. So that's Isabel Li, the chopper, who's going to be playing for Singapore in the 3rd spot. But right here, these two, Li Jiao, world rank number 25 at 43 years old, the end of last year in the Women's World Cup, pulled off an amazing performance to beat Zhu Yuling, who at the time was world rank number 2, and came very close to beating Kasumi Ishikawa for her place in the finals as well. And this is the placement that she has. Li Jiao, at 43 years old, is going to have to try and stay closer to the table. 29 isn't so young in table tennis either for Feng Tianwei. But again, at 43, the service and serve receive, shorter points played, the angles, really clever intentions. It's going to have to be the advantage that Li Jiao has.
Yeah, she likes to keep the points short. It's quite a sort of, with respectfully said, a dated style, isn't it? You know, quick punchy points, tight to the table. It's going to be interesting to see how Feng handles that.
Well, I think it's understandable. The older you get, the less stamina you have, so you don't want to start challenging some young spring hen chicken into such a battle. I'm terrible with the animals and the genders.
I think what's great is
5-4.
we're talking about Li Jiao as the 43-year-old. You know, when you're older, you can play well for a day or two, but it was good that she had that rest day yesterday because she'll be slightly fresher. You know, it's tough to keep that this level of intensity for consecutive days. So she is well rested.
And as far as dated styles go, we don't see a lot of people only using one side of the racket. That traditional Chinese pen hold style. I mean, Yu Sung-min won the Olympics in 2004, and since then we just don't see so many players. The top pen holders in the game for men both use the back side of the racket.
4-7.
So Li Jiao's blocks have to be very angular, very intentional, some punch on them. And there's Yu Meng Yu and Isabel Li doing her hair in the background, getting ready for the 3rd match.
7-5.
She really cuts at it, and one thing she can do quite well, Li Jiao, is vary the spin. Sometimes she chop blocks and comes across it. Other times she'll punch and put the pace on. I think her wisdom really showed up at the Women's World Cup in Sendai, Japan at the end of last year. It's funny, at 43 years old, only recently have I really become a big fan of her, but it was that tournament that turned me on to her game. Right now, Feng Tianwei only up by 2. Look at that.
7-6.
Forehand flat out to the forehand side, no problem, nobody home. Amazing. So early, that redirection off the forehand. Look at that. That is just testament to how early she sees the ball. And remarkably, she's not the eldest player in the team. Because you've got Elena Tamina,
oh, that's right,
who's down there at 46 years old. She came in against France, but wasn't quite sharp enough to really pull off the win. She went five games, though.
I think she's still playing lead matches, but sort of came out here by necessity to fill in a spot. Break off the edge.
7-8.
What you were talking about as far as recognizing and seeing it early, I think reaction time, while movement might be slower as you age, I think reaction time itself is not slower. So this is one thing she has to do to be responsible, is see it earlier so she can start moving to get there on time.
She certainly is not missing the bus at the moment.
And the service variation, again with age, serve, receive, and serve, the 2 first shots you have in the point are so important. And Li Jiao constantly changing up her receive, playing high-risk serves, high-risk receives. It's tied up now at 8-all.
You'd imagine that whatever happens, this would arguably be a swan song event, really, for Li Jiao, 43 years old. Swan song, kind of.
She's a one-hit wonder. She's only making music, releasing a single, but not a full album. No, I know what you mean. Oh, swan song.
That's it. So she's kind of at the twilight of her career. You know, how long can she keep playing at this level? It's remarkable.
Well, this is, I think, maybe the female He Jiao. She's definitely younger. She's got a decade less on her than He Jiao from Spain, or playing in Spain, rather. Juanito, as they call him. But that style of play, she plays similarly, so she could have another decade on her. We'll see. Right down the line, that's a risky shot. And with that ball, she leaves open the block out to the forehand side. If Feng Tianwei can get a racket on it, she's smoked. She's a duck in hot water. Between the swan song and the duck, we've got all sorts of bird analogies here. Strong block to tie it up. I was afraid that serve went too long, Paul.
Yeah. Feng reacting well to that, but not quite quick enough. Tied up at deuce. Opening game, of course, so pivotal in this critical opening match.
And especially with the difference in level as far as world rankings and standings for the Singaporean team. After Feng Tianwei, nobody's been quite holding up the way she has. Inside out, full commitment, a step around shot, and that is an athletic, risky decision that pays off for Li Jiao.
Yeah, so Yu Munyu, she's won 3 from her 4 matches, but Feng 8 from 8. That's remarkable. But this, a real test.
And the test has been failed in game 1, having 2 game points, 4 in a row scored against her. Feng Tianwei loses game 1. It's Li Jiao with her 43 years of age and a whole lot of experience to take game 1. We'll be back for game 2 just after this. And as the players come back for game 2, Paul and I were chatting over the break. Li Jiao has not won a match against Feng Tianwei since 2012 at the World Championships. The last 3 times they've played, it's been Feng Tianwei. She's only dropped a single game in 3 matches. But right now, Li Jiao's already taken a game and hasn't dropped one herself.
Well, what's encouraging as well, despite that reckless serve, was that Li Jiao as well loves this short, punchy format, I would have thought, at 43 years of age, right? You don't want best of 7, you want best of 3.
Absolutely, yeah. The younger you are, the more stamina you have, the longer you can last. I don't know if it was with you, but if you want to challenge Ma Long, play best of 1 point.
It was you and I.
1-all.
So the same theory here, when it comes to 3 games and high-risk shots, I mean, Li Jiao could get to the finish line first, and right now she's on her way to do it. There's an uncomfortable shot there, popped up a little bit, but still the table in the way for the obstacle.
And you've got to be thinking as well, Adam, that Li Jiao winning that opening game allows her just to relax a little more, breathe a sigh of relief, and be a little bit more adventurous as well.
The adventure part, yes. As far as relaxed, it's tough to say. I mean, you're playing Feng Tianwei. She knows she's going to have to keep up a high level of play. Ooh, that would have been crazy. That was about 3 shots longer than I expected that rally to go. This shot right here comes back, and she recovers, gets 1 more, but not that last shot.
Not as effective when she has to back away from the table, that's for sure. Feng did well getting her on the back foot.
And you saw what she used, the backside of her racket. Right on the white of the line. I actually can't think of another time I've seen Li Jiao. That's probably the only situation where she would use the backside of the racket.
Yeah, that was desperate, wasn't it?
Yep.
Needs must.
that shot right
Fabulous
there.
forehand.
Oh, amazing. Just missing, creeping back into the table to come take control of the point. The quality of point is getting better and better. Feng Tianwei is managing to extend the rallies a little bit. And Li Jiao hanging in there for a few more shots. But you could see she comes right back in, so she has less ground to cover. Doesn't have to be quite as mobile.
Completely contrasting styles, aren't they? What with the old pen holder style as opposed to the classic shake hands grip. And interestingly, you know, how they match up.
And both originally coming from the same country, but still, as you mentioned, between generations and also styles of grip, it is quite an interesting showdown here. Feng Tianwei sounds like she hit the table, checking the racket. If the rubber breaks, she's going to have to show it to the umpire to make sure it's playable. Not seeing that so far. But if she doctors the rubber too much, there will be suspicion. An umpire asked to see it. She might have to bring in a spare, which could change a lot. Even sometimes same models of rackets, same rubber, play a little bit differently, weigh different amounts by just the slightest amount.
3-6.
Something we haven't spoken about, of course, is that Feng Tianwei was pivotal when they caused the biggest upset in World Team Championship table tennis history in 2010 by beating China in Moscow to take the women's title. That was something else.
Best marathon point so far, one shot away from being an incredible finish for Li Jiao. The Feng Tianwei is really just controlling the game right now. These longer rallies not allowing Li Jiao to get in near the table and take the angle, keeping them deep, moving her around. I think this is a very effective strategy for Feng Tianwei.
Yeah, they're fighting for table position, aren't they? Feng just desperate to get over that table quickly, get the first strike in, as is Li as well.
And Li Jiao covered her body quite well in the middle there. Early in the rally, Feng Tianwei had the perfect shot right in at the elbow, and Li Jiao managed to escape and survive for a few more shots in the rally.
3-9.
Like that off-faded receive on the forehand side from Li.
Yeah, a little bit of side spin, adding to the confusion, forcing Feng Tianwei to change her stroke and her shot.
But Feng's getting the wheels back on here. Very strong second game in contrast to the opening game, which she lost 12-10.
That's a serve we haven't seen yet. The finishing shot, of course, a stunner, but a long serve kicking into the backhand. This is Li Jiao testing the waters a little bit, trying to pull out a few surprises to get back in this game. Feng Tianwei completely stopping that plan. Now 7 game points for Feng Tianwei on the receive. Loaded with spin.
10-4.
Now one thing about the pen hold grip, a lot of wrist action. It's a little bit loose. You've got the racket dangling more, so it's a little easier to generate spin, some might say. Side swipe doesn't land, and it's a narrow, not narrow, but a dominant escape to tie it up. Feng Tianwei making it 1 game each. We'll see what happens in game 3 just after this.
Time.
As we come back for Game 3, Li Jiao versus Feng Tianwei. This, as you mentioned, Paul, a very pivotal match here. Feng Tianwei, the top player for Singapore, and Li Jiao just behind Li Jie, the number 2 player for Netherlands. And for Li Jiao to get out of that point after being danced around so much, we even saw her feet cross in that point.
Yeah, they're both fighting for court position, aren't they? Both desperate to get the first strike in.
I think that's a big part of it. I definitely think Feng Tianwei also just keeping it deep on the table and keeping Li Jiao's game a little bit more passive, not allowing her to dictate so much creativity early on.
1-all.
Now, as far as history, Feng Tianwei won the last 3 times they played. Now, last year, 2015, Feng Tianwei had a great start. She took the Asian Cup, beating several Chinese players, top in the world to do it. But toward the end of the year and the beginning of this year, Feng Tianwei hasn't quite lived up to her expectations, I'm sure. Li Jiao, on the other hand, sort of having a second wind in her career after the Women's World Cup, is on a high right now. Anyone who saw her play that knows to be afraid if Zhu Yuling can't get through her. Anybody's in danger out here against Li Jiao. And we were talking about how much dangling spin you can get with that dangling grip. That was loaded with underspin.
Yeah.
We don't see Feng Tianwei miss receives too much. I think consistency and good read on the ball is one of Feng Tianwei's specialties.
We were saying, weren't we, that the pen holders can hinge from the wrist more than the shake hands grip.
That's right.
Hence load more spin on.
And even the angle there, able to vary it and just bend it so wide. Really turned it out, exiting the side of the table. Now, Feng Tianwei has quick movement, but she does have sort of short steps, short strokes, used to the fast pace over the table play, doesn't like to back off.
Got burnt with the pass long serve.
Well, yeah. I mean, wide too. You've got someone standing on the backhand corner, and Li Jiao just one step plays it right on the line and still maintains her balance just in case the rally continues. This is a sign of a world-class player. Again, at 43 years old, to be 25 in the world. And quite frankly, I think she might be underranked. Outstanding play from 3 steps behind the table. Takes her time, and every loop was right at the baseline.
Yeah.
I mean,
precision hitting.
Right, every single one of these shots, Paul, looked like it was off the table to me, but she just didn't miss.
No, it's quality from back there. Relatively ineffective. That's not the best part of her game, but look how she held up. Now she's a 6-1 lead. Mixing the serves well as well. Got what she wanted there, but ruse that error. Frustrated in missing that one. A grimace.
And what you said before about that not being the best part of her game, usually when she gets backed off the table, she's as quick to come back home as she can be.
That is resilient defense. Immaculate from Li Jiao.
Yeah, early on in that rally, I thought for sure she was burned. She was done. Feng Tianwei hit it way wide, blocked into the body here. I mean, she really just manages to stay in the point. Even that last ball was at that point in the point. She gets that ball back a lot.
Time out.
It seemed like Li Jiao wanted to make sure it was clear who called the timeout. Which is funny because not quite clear. On screen, it looks like they've given it to Singapore. That is a very important distinction to make. Late in the match, you don't want to be ready for a timeout and realize that they accidentally called the timeout to the wrong team.
Yeah, quite. And interestingly, Li Jiao's gone back to her compatriot, for a little bit of coaching.
Well,
Elena
more than
Tillina.
Time.
so, she is a compatriot, but she's also the women's national team coach. So she stepped back in here to play. Right now, we've got a fun shoot. Which one is it from the Rascals?
I don't know the name, but she does look like that. You're right. Got a blue tinge going on there as well in the hair.
Yeah, Feng Tianwei just.
She's quite creative with that, isn't she? She's
Yeah.
in several colors now over the years.
Well, I think this is. She just doesn't care. She's cool. I was trying to think of the cool way to say, doesn't give a fly, but there's a clean way to say it. But Feng Tianwei just focuses on winning out here and
3-6.
has some fun.
She's very single-minded. And quite left brain in the hairstyle department.
7-3.
She'll be getting frustrated around now, though, but hopefully she'll be buoyed by that head-to-head showing over the years. Bit of a stranglehold in that regard, but Li Jiao, well, she's just saying, no, none of that. I'm going to turn this around. This one's going my way at the moment. 4 points to the good.
How does she handle that long push deep into the body? Li Jiao is just showing that she's so versatile and light on her feet, quick to move too. Quite an athletic game at 43. She's taking big steps. She's getting low to loop. I mean, she just has it all right now. Everything except the backside of the racket, and she's still playing like there's no difference.
3-9.
And normally Feng's so good on that dependable backhand cross table, but just not managing it. She's just been rushed into error. Normally a standout feature of her game, but this player just playing lights out at the moment.
It's interesting to see how different players arc in their career. Some burn out or sort of peak at a younger age. Feng Tianwei has had a very illustrious career, quite a long career. But compared to Li Jiao, I mean, Li Jiao at 43 might be playing some of the best table tennis in the last 2 decades. Feng Tianwei, after having a really strong first half of the year in 2015, has had a little bit of a slump. Nothing outrageous, but still world rank number 8. We can expect better from her. Just overdoing it, a confident counterattack after several attacks. And you see how she's calming herself?
Yeah, over-pressing. That's what she was gesturing. Yeah, but as you say, 2015, the Asian Cup, the win for Feng, beating Zhu Yuling and Liu as well. Amazing.
Yeah, you got 2 of the top 3 players in the world. You got world rank number 1. At the end of last year, Zhu Yuling was world rank number 2.
Outstanding point of the match so far, eh? Whew.
It's definitely one of them. We've had a few outstanding rallies here from both of these players, and Li Jiao is really testing Feng Tianwei. She's got a long way to go in the testing process right now. I guess that's 3 in a row for Feng Tianwei.
7-9.
Yeah, and she's playing a wall. Feng Tianwei really to get that ball back. That was a rip of a shot deep to the corner.
It was amazing. It was high risk, but she made it.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like a good time. You have a big lead like this. It could be the most pivotal game of the match.
I think she will on the next point if she loses it, Lee.
Well-placed serve deep into the body, no timeout, a little bit of self-coaching. And sometimes it depends on the player, how they feel, but at the same time, sometimes icing the kicker, breaking, you know, at least letting them think that they have something to worry about coming back, stopping the comeback streak.
She did well to burst the momentum bubble there that Feng had generated.
But what an unusual choice, too. I mean, the last serve that was deep into the backhand, right into the body, she tried to step around and attack, and here she just said, you know what, I'm just going to push it back, know what I'm going to get for a third ball, and then counter it. This is the advantage of a long push in table tennis. At least you have more predictability on where the third ball is going. Now 2 game points for Li Jiao. Smart play, excellent use of the long push, gets Li Jiao around the corner and exposes the open forehand court.
Yeah, hits the inside of the ball really well here and loads the legs very, very well as she rotates inside that one. Wonderful off forehand finish.
Some of my favorite slow motion moments in the last several years are involving Feng Tianwei. Serve comes a little bit long, but still Li Jiao escapes, and what a close game from the start. It didn't look like it would end this way, but it's a 2-1 lead for the 43-year-old in orange. Back for game 4 just after this.
他要再快的话，你就绷住就行了，你不要做任何动作，你要一定顶上去，就让他远一点就行了。这两个节奏他会换。他现在就是发短的时候，就等着你抽半出台。要该出手也要敢出手，好不好？好。
As we come back for game 4, Paul and I had a little conversation about the coaching relevance. Paul, you were talking about the respect on the Singaporean side.
Yeah, they just stood there sort of like with hands crossed and looking very, very respectful. All stood up, listening to the advice that Feng was receiving from Coach Chun Jabin.
And Coach Chun is actually a new coach who was brought in after some feathers got ruffled in the Singaporean program. Coach Jing, who had been with the team for some time, they're now testing out the new coach here. So this will be a big trial for him, I'd say. Singapore definitely expected to do some magic. You'd mentioned the 2010 victory, that huge upset. I mean, it's been so long since China's lost on either side except for that.
Commonwealth Games champions as well in women's singles and team event is Feng Tianwei. So they've had a lot of success over the years. The 5th seeds, Singapore. Came 2nd in this event in 2008 and 12, and won in 2010. Came 3rd in the last showing in Tokyo, 2014. Really strong appearances in this team event.
1-2.
Now also Feng Tianwei, right now at world number 8, for a long time was world number 4, world number 5, back and forth in there.
Yeah, she's got, I think she's been as high as 2 actually. Pretty sure. Let me just check that.
You're probably right. In the last few years, I've seen her floating around between 4 and 6. As far as stability goes, wow, some frustration there. Li Jiao knows the importance of hitting a few of these shots. Big opportunities, doesn't want to have to send this to a 5th and deciding game, get it over with.
Yeah, Feng's been as high as 2 in the world back between April and September 2010. She's been right up there, fantastic.
Which is amazing because when she left China, she was about number 15 on the national team and decided, you know what, I've got a career elsewhere, I gotta leave. And some vocalization, a big inside-out forehand. Feng Tianwei, it feels like she's dominating this game, but looking at the scoreboard, I mean, it's still point for point.
She's liking the off forehand. She's going there a lot.
I think that's one of the most misleading parts of her game is the forehand, how she can come inside out with it.
3-all.
But again, that whippy forehand of Li Jiao, a lot of power playing the short side of the table.
Has she got enough to see this match off right here, Li Jiao? Interesting. It's a nervy nail biter, that's for sure. And I can't say it enough, it's just such a pivotal first opening match, this one. Feng Tianwei undefeated so far, 8 from 8, remember, just incredible.
And I think if Li Jiao takes this match, Netherlands going to be heavily favored. When you've got world number 8 and someone who was world number 2 on your team, you're expecting them to take 2 singles matches in this format, 2 points on the board.
Yeah, they're heavily loaded towards their number 1 Singapore, that is for sure, because backing it up, well, they've got Yu Mengyu, as you said. She's world ranked 34 at the moment. She's been as high as a top 10er. She's been 9th in the world in March 2010, that great year for Feng and Yu. But then backing that up, they've got Isabel Li, But, at the moment, currently unranked, you're saying around 130-ish.
Yeah, last I recall that she took a break, was focusing on school for a bit. I saw her in Dubai at the 2015 World Team Cup at 130 in the world when she beat, at the time, 20 in the world, Li Ho Ching. That was one of the biggest upsets. I mean, it just seemed like game 5 or match 5 was where it was at. Hong Kong, exactly what they wanted, had no problem. And Isabelle Li was there to disrupt, add some chaos to the mix.
It's going to be interesting how Isabelle Li will go against Britt Eirland, because that's who she's supposed to play from Holland.
Right, and I think Isabelle Li, as far as I know, probably isn't quite as well practiced as some of the others who haven't really stopped over the past year and a half. But world rankings-wise, Britt Eirland and Isabelle Li aren't too far apart. So right out of the timeout, Feng Tianwei still fired up. You gotta love the facial expressions of Li Jiao. I mean, she really seems to be enjoying herself throughout, even when she's a little frustrated. She really shows her emotion. It just makes the game fun to watch.
Oh, there's a beautiful subtle change of spin and speed in there from Li, but Feng up to it.
Yeah, and this missed contact on the last shot is unfortunate. Li Jiao had an opportunity, the ball a little bit high. She wins those points a lot, and you could see the frustration at the end of that clip.
A couple of forehands missed back to back. That could really cost her in the grand scheme of things.
That was one of the first points you and I both marveled at, how smooth and seamlessly she blocked it back with the forehand down the line, but given the opportunity here, wasn't able to land it. And the pressure coming back in, you could feel it. It really does affect the opponent where, when you see your opponent on the other side of the table a step behind, you have a little bit of freedom side to side, less pressure to get back into position after your shot. Sometimes just rushing the table adds that pressure and forces the opponent to think and even miss shots where they might not otherwise.
5-7.
Arms aloft in frustration from Li there. Wow.
Cool little kick move she pulled off to get the ball up, though. Nice, a lot like Waldner. Don't see too many players confidently kicking the ball with their hand these days. Right in on the body. And that's got to be one of the most difficult shots. A traditional Chinese pen hold up high on the backhand side. I mean, you understand why Li Jiao has to try and make a forehand out of that shot. That or she's going to have to jump back into the table and just try to smother it with the punching backhand.
Feng really wired now, fully dialed in, determined to turn this one around. Just delving deep into that mental memory of the fond wins in the past against this opponent.
10-5.
Now 5 game points. Inside out forehand with side spin. That's a stingy shot.
She crunched that with so much power. How do you get that much power and angle simultaneously?
It was a strong shot. Feng Tianwei hits it on the body again. Look, she has to lift her leg to get the upper body out of the way. The smooth criminal lean almost. Some agility at 43. Oh, and the opportunity was there. The fast long serve, the fast punch down the line, and a missed hit on the inside out forehand. It's 11-6 for Feng Tianwei, and we're going to a 5th and deciding game. Stay right here.
现在就是说的是两种，他现在每一局有一种打戏，这一局就发力多，他掉也多，有的时候你现在不知道他是怎么处理下一局。你要他掉的时候，
As we come back for the 5th and deciding game, there were some observations, Paul, you had about the way Feng Tianwei listens a little bit differently than some of the other players to the new coach.
Yeah, she was kind of like just not dismissive,
Fifth
but just
game,
turning
Singapore
around, looking
deserve
away. Body
left
language wasn't
on.
quite as keen on what the coach had to say as before. And that's interesting, you know.
It could be some skepticism. The analogy I was making was like a stepdad coming into the family.
Left
It's like
1.
you want to trust them, but they don't necessarily have the years of credibility with the family.
There you go, well said. That's a great analogy. I love that.
Thanks. My parents never divorced, by the way. Random fun fact. I think as far as the upset is always interesting, but I think for the long run in this match, it'll be more interesting if Feng Tianwei wins looking at the lineups. I think it'll be a closer overall head-to-head contest here.
Whatever happens, both teams are into the round of 16 safely, but this is for the pride and bragging rights to win the group.
That's right, whoever wins will have a rest into the quarterfinals. Wow, we're seeing some fire and hearing it too from Feng Tianwei. She's pumped. I think sometimes after a little bit of a slump, people feel like I've had enough of this. People think, is this it for me? Am I gonna retire? No, I'm not done. I've still got it. And Feng Tianwei still does have it. She's just got a chance to prove it right here and for the rest of this tournament, really.
Yeah, the roar of the lioness inside. It's just great to see this one go to the sort of deciding 5th game. Drama unfolding already in this tight contest. 3rd and 5th seeds going toe-to-toe.
And that's that extra spin coming in cross court. Makes the ball really jump up and difficult for Feng Tianwei to stay on top of.
Tempered aggression. It's got to be measured to perfection. Margins are so slight in this great game.
Until the moment I realized that was a lead, I thought that's a troubled receive. And what a recovery again, left a forehand open, managed to get wide and come right back to counter. Watch the physicality on this, watch how quick she makes her move. She wasn't even on balance for that shot, she was still moving, both feet in the air at the point of contact.
Yeah, exactly, she's got terrific dynamic balance. Very good off of either foot. Rotates well into the shot.
I really love the fight I'm seeing out here from both players. It's very physical. Neither of them are saving anything. It's all in.
And I think what's interesting, Adam, as well, it's really tough in this tight contest to get runs of 3 and really, really bag that momentum bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, you see runs of 2 and then the other player pegs back immediately. Such a tight decider. Fabulous redirection down the line, short side of the table.
Yeah, it was tough to read that serve. I mean, the way the ball floated, it looked like there might have been light underspin on it, which is pretty unusual for a long serve. Usually a bit of topspin keeps it low and jumping away from the net. Sort of sends the receiver on the run. But that variation is also something that makes it difficult when you get to the ball. You have to lift it. And this is the time.
Feng staying in touch.
I mean, you can understand why she's so pumped. She's 8-0, hasn't lost a match yet this tournament.
She
And to come
understands
out
how to
here,
win.
yeah, she understands how to win, and she understands the responsibility she has as the leader of the team. A little bit of side spin makes a kick out wide, and Li Jiao not able to reach that ball comfortably.
And when you look with a wider lens at the big perspective as well, both teams fighting so hard because they will get a bye in the next round, whoever wins this match. And that is all important when you look at the grand scheme of the big whole week. You know, come Sunday, it's a lot of match table tennis you will have played if you can get to that stage and get a podium finish.
Recovering the top of the net, Li Jiao with the big forehand. And this time that long serve had some topspin, a little more pace on it. You saw how quickly she changed from backhand to forehand there. Still short strokes, very efficient play. Forehand flip from the middle of the table. Back to a 2-point lead.
Yep, who's going to blink first? You imagine if Li can get 3 or maybe 4 points ahead, she's looking really menacing now.
Well, especially at this point in the game, I mean, it's just going to be really tough to come back from that.
Feng has to get an early stab in quickly at this point here.
And just to make things interesting, I will say the best comeback I've seen in the last 2 years of commentating, Feng Tianwei, the Japan Open, was down 1-7, scored 10 in a row. Whoa. And she continued in the next game, but that's pretty unheard of.
There's one. Desperate to tie up here. There's a real deliberation about the rituals now. Of course, the players find them very, very soothing and relaxing in these moments of pressure. Return quality from the top draw there, though, from the Dutch player.
And it just shows you how many shots it takes to knock down Feng Tianwei wide to the forehand, but it still has to be a quality-paced ball deep to the opposite side of the table to force a side spin chop from the backhand side. Nice. 2 points away from sealing the match. And who knows if Feng Tianwei will have another chance to save the team. She's in the 4th singles spot.
Both deep in thought now, Adam. Sorry to intrude. They're just so desperate, aren't they, to put their A game against their players, their opponents' B, right here.
Very focused shot. It was loaded with spin, and Feng Tianwei, you could see, had to stay on top of it and really come down and spin over that ball. That was the head nod of, come on, you know better. Li Jiao sacrificing position for that step around. She does a lot of self-coaching out there. I think all the years of experience make her quite knowledgeable in moments like this. Feng Tianwei with a chance here. 2 serves could tie it up. Oh, the back edge.
7-10.
And that is some fortunate timing for Li Jiao, and a nightmare. That edge ball could haunt Feng Tianwei for the rest of this trip. Although I think as a professional, the sports psychology, she's going to have to forget about it as quickly as possible, even for this point right here. 3 match points for Li Jiao. And there it is, the upset. 43-year-old Li Jiao, world number 25, the B player for the team, playing in the A spot, takes down Feng Tianwei, the 2015 Asian Cup champion, world rank number 8, and Netherlands has a road that is definitely being paved with a great start. Paul, I can't believe what we just saw.
I'm just really impressed with Li Jiao's ability to front run throughout that match. She did so well. Look at what it means to her. What a start for the Dutch.
Wow, so we're gonna see how this unravels. We could have some upsets. We've got Yu Meng Yu coming up next against the chopping short pitch backhand attacker Li Jie just after this short break. Stay here.